Are you a solo queue support player? Are you a support player who just can't seem to climb rank to grouping or not? If you want to climb quickly, I've got just a solution for you. For 5 easy payments of just watching an ad, I'll teach you the best tips of being a support player in competitive Overwatch. My name is Nate and welcome to Blizzard Guides. I'm going to be going over both mistakes that you're making and stuff that you should be doing. I guess you could say that I lied to you with the title, so I guess that means I'm shutting the channel down because I'm a filthy liar. But seriously, these tips are best for if you're looking to climb in the support role. They're all just things that you should be constantly doing and considering, so I do really recommend that you write these down before you actually play a game and focus on using them constantly as you play. Also, really quick, if you're looking to ask more specific questions, you can hop on over to our Discord by following the link in the description or tweeting me on the official @Blizzard_Guides Twitter. I'm very active on both and am eager to respond to you all. With that out of the way though, let's get into the video. At number 5, you're just not aware of your utility as a support. This is something that a lot of support players in ranked are just really struggling to recognize. You're an awesome player and you're skilled, but you're playing like a heal bot that's just the figurative janitor of your team. Most support's goal in this game isn't actually to just heal. Obviously, you do have to do your role and make sure that teammates don't die, but that's not the only thing that you should be doing. Most supports are based around utility. Take Lucio for example. His healing kinda sucks and he really doesn't have that burst like some of the other supports. However, he does have speed boost, boop, and beat. Those 3 abilities all can completely change the pace of the fight and can guarantee wins where they may not have been possible. To climb the ladder, you need to learn your utility as a support. Let's say that you're on Hanamura playing Lucio, attacking first point, and you spot an out of position main tank near the ledge of the backside of the point, and you get a boop onto the main tank of the enemy team while your team is brawling on point. You're going to greatly increase the chances of your team winning without actually doing a ton of heals. You're actually just getting a crucial kill with that boop ability. While you're still definitely required to play with your main healer as Lucio and group up and heal the ally squishies that might need it, if there's an opportunity to make plays like that, you're going to be able to climb as a support. If you're on Mercy, getting a res on that Genji with Blade and then Valking and power boosting him might win you the game with a game-winning fight. It's plays like these that really separate the minimum effort heal bots from the insane carries that can come from the support slot. Really learn when you're useful as a healer and break through the heal bot mentality by starting to make plays where you're able to find them. But with that said, don't go off on your own and leave your team to die. You still do have to heal your teammates sometimes. At number 4, you need to pay more attention to your surroundings. This tip is for players who aren't in Diamond and above, but it's still a huge part of why some players don't climb. If you know that the enemy has a sniper, it's in your best interest to stay behind the corners and out of line of sight of the enemy sniper. It sounds so obvious, and it is, but it's harder to do in execution than actually saying it, but it is doable. You have to take a good look at the enemy comp and think to yourself where they will be attacking you and when they will attack you. The more that you ask yourself this, the more likely that you're going to be in a safer position so that you don't get insta-gibbed and die immediately. If the enemy has a brawl comp that requires fighting in close quarters with no mobile or super ranged heroes, playing on the high ground that the enemy won't attack is going to be very smart. If the enemy is ranged, then you can just stay around the corner or in rooms that the enemy can't easily get line of sight from. If they have a fast moving dive comp, staying super close to your team is smart, or staying super far back if your Ana is smart. You just really have to play positions that really force the enemy to commit to killing you rather than sticking to spots where you're super vulnerable and easy to kill. You're the easiest to kill on your team and the second most important role, so if you're dead, your team is done and you sure as hell know that your teammates aren't going to be helping you out. So play in spots where you don't need your team to bail you out. But with that said, the more important thing is just that you please do not leave that position once you have it, unless you're absolutely sure that you have to. If you get in a good spot but leave it the moment that the fight gets rough, you're going to put all that hard thinking to nothing. At number 3, you're just mismanaging your abilities. This is one for those of you that are playing more cooldown based heroes like Lucio, Ana, and Moira. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you're a doctor and you get some guy in your office with a scratch on his knee. You're not going to give the guy surgery to fix his knee, right? You're going to kick him out of your office and tell him to suck it up, or at least give the poor guy a band-aid. In a similar vein, if your Genji has 30 HP missing, don't waste your nade on him. Make sure that your team isn't dying first, and then take the time to miss your shots on the Genji. If your ally isn't critical, there's no reason to commit stuff like Amp, Grenade, or Orb. Another thing is that you really need to recognize the impact that certain abilities might have. Let's say that you have the option to nade, nano, and pocket a Genji that has Blade and that has been consistent. Sometimes it is better to just let your off tank die so that you can get that big Blade off. With some quick thinking, figure out where you're best off using your abilities, or at least plan it before the fight breaks out. If you know that your Genji has Blade and is doing well, and your Zarya maybe isn't doing the best, then you're just going to want to use your cooldowns on the Genji so that he can do well, rather than nading and pumping heals into the Zarya that isn't really valuable to that specific team fight. And also, finally, just make sure that you're not wasting your ults on lost fights. We've all made fun of the Zarya that gets a big grab but instantly dies because she's completely alone, but we've also all made fun of the Lucio that uses sound barrier on himself. Make sure that when you ult, you actually have people that you're ulting with. Quickly press tab and you'll be able to see how many people are alive and well, and then you'll be able to plan out whether or not you're going to use your ult. Cooldown management is extremely vital as a support that isn't dependent on mechanical skill. At number 2, I'm branching off of the last point, and it's just that you're not picking favorites. As a support, you gotta pick favorites, believe it or not. The number one thing that I focus on as a support when I play is value, and if you have a teammate who's putting in a lot of work and getting kills or making plays, pocketing them to an extent is valuable and worthwhile. You're not almighty when you're on healer, so it's completely unreasonable to expect that you're not going to let anybody ever die. I mean, if you do think that you can do that, then you're either Overwatch League ready or you're just completely unrealistic. Sometimes you just gotta make the tough decision to let a teammate die so that your other teammates can make big plays. Sounds morbid, but it's just the reality of the situation. What I'll usually do is check the tab menu after the first fight and see who has the most ult charge, who got kills, or who did the best, and then begin focusing on them and playing more with them. If somebody needs help, I obviously try and help them out, but if I'm in the process of bringing them to full health and my favorite is dropping low and in danger, you better know that I'm ditching the teammate that I don't care about to go help my carry guy. Don't tell your team that you're playing favorites though, but sometimes you do have to do that. If your whole team is doing semi well though and you're winning the majority of the fights, there's no reason to do this, but when your team is struggling to make things happen, picking favorites is a 100% must. It seems like it's selfish, and believe me, it is, but at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is that sweet, sweet free low. And finally, last but not least, at number 1, you need to be playing team captain. There's two sides to this issue, and I'll start off with the underperforming end of things. You've got those players who are playing support without a mic, not communicating threats, enemy position, ult tracker, etc. And then you've got those who are overperforming, letting the team know what's currently on their mind, which wall the enemy Genji climbed on last, and what they had for dinner, and more. If you're on that first side, if you can use voice chat, please just use it. And if you're on that second side, please just consider stop talking a bit and just only make super necessary calls, and make sure that they don't last more than 5 seconds. Most people just let whoever start shot calling, but sometimes it is necessary to take that role for yourself and start helping your team out. As a support, your job isn't as intense for the majority of the time compared to DPS or tank players, so you can make your job more meaningful if you're paying attention to how much ult the enemy has, their positioning, your team's well-being, and more. If you can become that team captain role for your team by making clear and concise calls, you're going to be able to be a super valuable part of your team. With that said though, if you talk more than 5 seconds at a time, you might want to consider reevaluating the calls that you're making and make them at least a little bit more efficient. The biggest thing as a support shot caller is just paying attention to the threats for your team, the enemy's ult charge and impending ults, and whether your team should play up or play back. If you can nail this information down and consistently call it out, even if you're a mediocre support player, you're going to be able to carry the fights with your superior shot calling. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this guide. Let me know what helped you out in the most and why, and also consider dropping a like so that I can make these guides better. If this guide did not help you out or you didn't enjoy it, let me know as well why in the comments down below so that I can keep making these videos better for you all. If you want to see more, get subscribed to the channel so that you never miss out on one of our tips and tricks videos or our Twitch weekly highlight videos. If you want to join the Blizzard Guides community, join our Discord, follow us on Twitter, and follow our Instagram where you can get the latest updates. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Have a nice day. My name is Nate, and this was Blizzard Guides.